Okay, let's talk about the modular mode itself. So if we're gonna go to the right all the way up, we can choose the modular from this menu. We click modular and we can see that there are some changes in the UI. To the left we have the modular configurator open, and then we have this new block of the UI at in the right corner of the screen. Next thing, or the first thing to do, is to press this modular template presets button, and this is the limitation of the current version of the program. This is the limitation of the system at this point. All of those presets that we see here, they cannot be modified, and we cannot add any new presets that we create ourselves. This is something that Marvelous provides us with, and this is something that we have to use. For the most part, there are plenty of things in here. We have jackets, shirts, pants, and within certain menus we have subcategories in here as well. So we have wasted plus, and well, there are plenty of things to choose from. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm going to explain why this is a limitation a bit later. For this example, we'll be using a jacket, so I'm going to select jacket template, and we'll click OK. Now we see the same blocks that we saw before, and this time around we can interact with those things, but that's the only thing we can do. We cannot scale them, we cannot modify them. That's everything that we can do. We can organize those blocks in the viewport, and that's about it. And the next thing to do is to add some garments to the scene, something that we want to be used in the modular configurator. To do that, we're going to go to File, Add, and here select either Project or Garment. And this is the garment we will be using for this example. This is a jacket with some not so standard design in the back. I'm going to close the 3D view because this is no longer necessary. This is just going to be in the way, and I have hotkeys for that. So now I can work only in the 2D view as well as the presets themselves. One thing to note is that we have the same blocks at the top as well, and those are thumbnails. We can click on them, and once we click that, we can see that in the viewport they are highlighted while everything gets a little bit grayed out. And there's also some description of those blocks, so we can understand what is what. So this is the back, this is the front, and those are the sleeves. Next thing to do is to put the appropriate garments inside of the blocks corresponding to the garments. So I'm going to move those things out of the way. We don't need them at the moment, and then we'll begin the construction from the front of the jacket. So I'm going to select those two pieces, move them a little bit closer, and then I'm going to move it inside of the block, and we can see that the blocks are highlighted once we do that. When we let go, we get this message about the symmetry. I'm going to press OK, and we can see that the block changed a little bit. It got a little bit darker, and it changed the scale, and this is something that the program does automatically. It will scale what it thinks is appropriate. It will try to match all the garments that are put inside of this block. Next thing to do is to add a color, and I'm going to put it here, but it's a little bit of it's one of those elements that will not be used properly inside of this modular system, because the color, if we want the system to work, needs to be separated. One part has to be in the front, and then there has to be a part of the color that goes to the back. But since I didn't make this kind of split, I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to explain what to do next. So next I'm going to pack the sleeves. and finally the back. If we have a situation like this one, we have the blocks in line on top of each other, we simply select the block and move it out of the way, and everything that is inside moves along with it. So that's it, that's the first stage. We need to pack all the garments inside of the blocks, and we can see up here that thumbnails represent exactly what we've just created. So there are two ways to use this system. The first one is we'll call it basic one, and the second one is complete. The basic one is that we put the garments inside the blocks and we leave it as is. We put everything in here, then we go up and we save those garments as a part of the system, and we get back to simulation and we begin to construct those garments like we did at the beginning of the video. The second, the complete way to use the system is to saw the sides of the garments to the sides of the blocks, and this is where this limitation comes in. If we want the system to work fully, if we want to sew things together in a way that when we use Modular Configurator and we switch, for example, sleeves, if we want those sleeves to be sewn to the body of the jacket, we need to make sure that everything in here is sewn together. If we don't do that, the system will still work. We'll still be able to switch elements, we'll still be able to interchange them, but the problem is that we will have to sew things together manually afterwards. This is not that big of a problem, but still it creates this gap for the system to be fully automatic. And even though the patterns, those blocks, they're quite diverse, there are plenty of room to work with, but there might be situations where our garments are not so standard, when we might have jackets that are not simply this standard jacket with just two sides, top and the sleeve portion. It might be something that has different panels, different shapes and forms, and it's all one garment. So in that case, we simply wouldn't be able to have this system, this block, to accommodate the shape of the garments. And in that case, we would need to sew everything together after we use the Modular Configurator. But in this case, I'm going to show how to use the system fully, how to make a complete setup for this Modular Configurator to work. And to begin, we will sew the sleeves. So up here we have our tools, and we need to choose the sew segment tool. One thing to keep in mind is that the M and N segment sewing doesn't work at the moment. We need to use the segment sewing, but it's not that big of an issue. We simply need to hold Shift and then sew things together. And one thing to keep in mind is that when we sew those things, when we sew the side of the block with the side of the garment, we should start with the block itself, because there might be situations where we have more than just one side. So for example, in here we have the bottom of the jacket split in 4 segments, and we have only one segment for the bottom of the jacket on the block. So we need to start from the block and then hold Shift key and do this kind of procedure, instead of doing that it's the other way around, starting from that and then trying to connect it to this side. It simply would not work. So back to sleeves. We have in the block we have the side of the sleeve, we have the top, another portion for the top, and then we have another side. So this is fairly straightforward. We simply need to connect those things together like that. And if there was some piece at the bottom of the sleeves, if we wanted to connect something here, we would connect this side to the sleeves as well. But since we don't have anything here, we can leave it as is. And as you have noticed, there are some changes in here as well. We have this darker gray portions inside of the blocks, and this is just an indication that those sides are sewn together. And if we don't want to see this, if this is too much for us to take in, we can come here and press this little icon, and this will toggle on and off the visibility of the connection. Next thing, I'm going to do the same for the other sleeve.
If you enjoy this content or find it useful, please consider supporting me by buying me a cup of coffee via the link in the description.
And that's it. That's, in a sense, this is a fully functional system for the sleeves that we have. We have everything sewn together, and if we had a jacket sewn together with the gray block as well, we would have those things connected when we bring it into simulation. But I'm going to show how to build a system that can have some variety in here. So since we connected the sleeves first, we're going to go all the way up in here, and in those sleeves we're going to press the save icon. We have the option to load the configuration. We can load something that we worked before, some garments, but in this case we'll just press the save button. Then we'll need to find the right folder for this project. So in this case going to be test, and I'm going to create another folder in here and call it jacket 1 as a basic variation. And inside of this folder I'm going to give the file a name as jacket 1 as well, because this is the name of the project. Click OK. Then we have the option to choose a thumbnail. We can either choose the standard Marvelous thumbnail. It's going to be a snapshot of the garment in 3D view, or we can create a custom thumbnail. And in this case I'm going to go with the second option, and I'm going to select the star of this video series, the amazing William Defoe. Right? Press OK. And then we're going to give a name for the piece of this system, of this modular configurator. So since we're working on the sleeves, it's appropriate to call this sleeves, and I'm going to give a name as sleeves 1. So this way I understand that this is going to be version 1, and then there's going to be version 2 that we will be working on a little bit later. In here we also need to select a thumbnail. The program requires to do that. We cannot simply press OK, and so I'm going to select William again and press OK. Now, if we're going to go all the way to Modular Configurator and locate the right folder, so in this case it's going to be test jacket 1, we can see that we have sleeves, and this is this block is missing the thumbnail. I'm not even sure why, but it might have something to do with the image aspect ratio, or it just simply doesn't like William Defoe. I'm not even sure, but this is just something that happened in here. So if we select this option, we can see that we have our William in here, and this William will represent the first version of the sleeves. Everything else here disappeared, as you can see, because this is now a beginning of this of the system operating. We are no longer in the construction mode, so to speak. We are in the assembly mode at this point. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to get back, and we will continue working on the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take those sleeves and I'm going to delete them. Instead, I'm going to bring this version of the sleeves, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put those sleeves inside of the right blocks, and I'm going to connect them again. There's a bit of an issue in here. The sleeves are not mirrored, so I'm going to create a mirror paste and delete those. Actually, I'm going to delete those altogether. I'm going to create a symmetry just to be sure that everything is working fine. Like that. And then sew things together. Okay, so the second version of the sleeves is complete as well, and the next thing to do is to save this up so we can have it in the modular configurator again, all the way up into the sleeves thumbnail. Press the save button, call this sleeves 2, press save. This time around I'm going to select block component thumbnail, which is another way of saying that the program will use its own thumbnail. I'm going to click OK. And next, if we're going to go to our modular configurator and double click on this sleeves category, even though there has to be jacket, it looks like I've made a mistake somewhere in the process of giving this the correct name, but just know that this is not what we're doing here. Is not for the sleeves. This has to be a jacket, and everything underneath is going to be the blocks for this jacket, so do not be confused about this. It's just a naming issue. But anyway, in here we have the William, and then we have the version of the sleeves that we've just created. And again, this is the assembly process at this moment. We have everything disappeared in the editor, and this is simply to demonstrate that we have everything working. So next thing to do is to finish up the construction of this of the system of this modular configurator, and I'm going to continue with the jacket. I'm going to sew the front. This is the front side, this is the side, this is the sleeve area, this is the shoulder, and same on the other side. And I'm going to leave the color the way it is right now, because if I sew things together in here, the color will sew everything to the front side of the jacket, so the back will be completely empty and there's going to be some issues with the simulation. So I'm going to leave it as is. So next we'll move on to the back, connect the side of the jacket. This is the portion of the sleeve. This is the shoulder. This is the back. And do the same thing on the other side. In here I will leave the bottom itself as is, and I'm not going to do anything with those pieces because they're not exactly functional. They are simply for the cosmetic purposes, so to speak. So I'm going to leave everything here as is. If we had something modular in here as well, if we want the bottom to be interactive somehow, we should have went and connected everything in here as well. But since nothing like that will take place, we're going to leave everything as is. And next we need to save the back and the front. And that's it. That's how we set up the modular configurator for this example. Next thing to do is to exit the modular mode and get back to simulation. And to demonstrate this modular process, I'm going to create a new scene altogether, so we don't have anything in here, and we can start from scratch. But before we do that, I would like to explain the problem with the naming that we had in here. So when we click the save icon, what we do here, if we save this this file, this is going to be the version of the sleeves, the version of any piece that we're working on. So in this case, if those were the sleeves, we would name this sleeves 1 or sleeves short or sleeves buttons and things like that, and then we press OK. And then we choose the thumbnail, and the next stage, this is where we give it a name for the project. So the thumbnail that we see in here to the left, this is where this name is shown. So before, I've made a mistake and I called this this thing sleeve, but in reality in here what I should have written down was jacket 1, and then selected the right thumbnail, which is always William Defoe, and then press OK. And this way we will make sure that everything here is appropriately structured, so the names are going to be appropriate. So just a quick correction before we continue.